Hi everybody, today's notes are very short overall. We're just going to learn how to solve equations with variables on both sides of the equations rather than one. And it's a very straightforward step here in the first problem. All you need to do to make the problems look like last week is when there's an equal sign between two x's. We cannot combine 4x and 2x. Do not combine to get 6x. No way, no how. Instead, when there's an equal sign, you need to balance your equation by doing the same thing on both sides of the equation. If you do that, this doesn't become 6x on the left, but becomes 2x. Now at this point here, this is a normal two-step equation. And everybody does really good with these, assuming you did your work last week, as long as you take the correct first step. So we get 2x equals 14, and x equals 7 after we divide and solve it out. Easy. Now, the way you do this next problem here, where the 5x on the left is smaller and the 8x on the right is bigger, can be done either way. Some people like to do it with doing the smaller number. If this is the way you've learned it, feel free to keep doing it this way. I'm going to erase this part of the screen in a moment. But this step is correct. It's not wrong. However, this is not the way I tend to do the problems, but it's not wrong. Instead, what I always do is do it the same way I did the last one, where I always subtract the x term on the left. This will sometimes get you negative numbers. I'm doing this because I don't want you to be afraid of negative numbers. Negative numbers are totally fine. It's fine to get negative 3x. Minus 1 equals 14. And from there, now it's a two-step equation, even if you have negative numbers. We have negative 3x equals positive 15. Excuse my handwriting. I'll make that 3 a little nicer. And then when you divide by, and careful the way I'm doing my problem, I'm divided by a negative 3. If you had done this the other way, though, you would have had positive 3x, but you would have had negative 15. So the negatives don't disappear if you do it the other way. You get x equals negative 5 as your answer. Easy. This should come back to you. Three-step equations are not hard at all. This is going to be something, again, we're going to be doing so much here first semester, including the first unit of geometry. We're going to start doing this math on geometry problems quite a bit on our second section of geometry. These are going to be very important equations. Occasionally, you're going to see something come up that's actually easier, but it looks harder. You have x on both sides, like we do on both these next problems, but what's going on is that you don't have two numbers. You only have a single number. It looks unusual. It's actually easier. As long as you don't get thrown off by this, if there's one x term on one side of an equal sign, the equal sign here being the key thing, if the x term is, I'm not sure what's going on here, why my green keeps disappearing. If one of the x terms is to the left of that equal sign, like the 2x, if one of the x terms is to the right of the equal sign, like the 7x, that's all you have to do. Again, you might have negative numbers. Don't be afraid of negative numbers. Negatives happen. They're not a problem. And you get negative 2. Easy enough. Now, which side do you subtract? This can be challenging because sometimes on this next problem here, if you want to subtract the 5x from both sides, it's technically not wrong. The shorter way to do this problem is to subtract just the x from both sides, specifically the 1x from both sides. The reason we're doing it this way is you have a number on one side of the equal sign and a variable on the other side of the equal sign. If you do it differently, what's going to happen is you either have to move the equal sign, which is not allowed, or you have to put a 0 on the problem, which is an extra step. So what you want to try to do is make sure you get rid of the side that has something near the numbers. So notice here, you get rid of the 7x because it's near the plus 10. Here we get rid of the x or the 1x because it's near the -8. You want to subtract away, or if it was negative, add away, the opposite of whatever's near a number. That's the important step on that one there, so that you don't accidentally move an equal sign or get a 0. If you're noticing the right answer is 3 and you get -3, or the right answer is -9 and you're getting +9, and you're making negative and positive opposites, this is the key issue. Maybe rewind this video 1 minute and re-listen to it again. Maybe touch base with me or your substitute, depending on whether it's on your own time or live time. If it's live time, please check in with your substitute. And get some help here and work one-on-one, and maybe present your screen so that we can help you out. It's not too bad, it's not too hard, but it takes a little bit of effort. And we get -2 again. Last thing, make sure you know how to distribute. I know you do, but let's make sure we write this correctly. Almost everybody writes this correctly with 8x plus 20, careful, not plus 5, -3x, and here's the mistake people sometimes make a mistake on. There's a -3, there's a -9, that becomes +27. Now combine your like terms. 8 minus 3 is 5x. 20 plus 27 is 47. This one's going to come out to be a decimal. That's okay. Decimals are going to happen sometimes, especially nice decimals at the moment. We'll be rounding more soon. But don't be afraid if you get a nice decimal. And on this one here, we divide by +5. You get -9.6. Decimals will occasionally happen. Negative numbers will occasionally happen. Do not be afraid. Even though, yes, you're going to notice many times, like the first problem, you're going to have things work out to be positive whole numbers. I'm just trying to make sure you realize we're not limited to positive whole numbers as our answers. That concludes your lesson. A few of you have already done IXL 8.6 level. I had you wanting to go to only a 50 the other day. Some of you guys went into the 60s and 70s, and a few of you went well past the 90. Your assignment, as you'll read on Google Classroom today, is take the score from a 90, from wherever you're at to a 90. If you're already at a 90, you're done. There is extra credit available if you move to 100, and there's a separate extra credit 8-question assignment if you're looking to do for some extra credit. Lots of extra credit today. Take care, everyone. Have an excellent period. Check in with your substitute. Make sure you've taken attendance through the substitute, not through a Google form. And we'll go from there. Take care.